What's going on, people? Welcome back to Premier League Unpacked. We're here with the guys. It feels like it's been a lifetime, but we got Patrick in the cut, Guna Lee in the cut, and Roms also as well. Bish couldn't make it today, but big up to him. DSG also has got a few bits going on, so big up to him. But look, an interesting week of football. You get me? The Arsenal put United to bed. Liverpool back on track. Big Ange looking like he's making Tottenham relevant again. And the same old story at Chelsea, shall I say. And you know what? We're going to start with Chelsea first of all, yeah? And Patrick, I'm going to have to get your opinion. Pochettino, man, is the pressure on him or what? I'm hearing Carefree Lewis saying, Poch out. You get me? It's looking like turmoil already, man. What do you think of the whole Chelsea system?
The pressure's up. Well, first and foremost, what's up, my guys? Fucking Roms, Guna Lee, Prems. It's been a minute. It feels like it's been ages. And everyone in the chat, everyone in the cut. It's good to be back. Premier League's in full flow now, so it feels good. Like the games are coming thick and fast. I know it's an international break, but yeah, the league's hotting up, shaping up, and it's good to be back talking about football and stuff. So yeah, man. But Chelsea, I said it when Pochettino made the move. I was pissed off. I thought, yeah, that's it. You're dead to me. You're done. You're done out here, dead in the water. And I said, these Chelsea guys, they're the most annoying fan base. They're the most entitled fan base. They're the most impatient fan base. And we're 4 games in, and Poch out was actually trending on Twitter after 4 games. And that just goes to show these guys have got no patience. The regime's got no patience. And yeah, Poch is in tight water now. He's walking a tightrope already. The amount of money they spent, even if it's not all Poch's signings, they spent £1 billion in a year or so.
Oh, look who it is, people! Yo! I thought you were missing this one, bro. It's a surprise.
Man, just coming like the Undertaker.
Why is he looking all serious, bro? Why is he looking serious, bro?
He's done it by accident.
You man bullied him out of here, bro. You man are.
And I was sick.
Go on, Patty. Sorry for cutting you.
So that threw me off. He just stepped in, and then he's gone.
Man said, man came in like Undertaker.
You know why he's coming in? He's only coming in to laugh at United. You get me? That's why he's coming in. I'm telling you that's for a fact.
but yeah, so going back to Chelsea and yeah, man, the fan base, those fans, they don't know about. They talk about rebuilds and projects and everything like that. They say Poch is a project manager, but Chelsea will never give Poch the time he needs to really get to grips with that team. And I said it on here, and I said it on a few streams. The problem with Chelsea is that they've got too many players, and they don't know their best 11. They don't know their best 15. They don't even know their best 17. And it's going to take so long for Poch to get it right and figure it out. He played 4 at the back all pre-season, then went to a 5 at the back at the beginning of the season. That's given him pelters. He keeps chopping and changing. And obviously, every time a result goes wrong, naturally a manager will change again. So he just keeps changing and changing, and it's not working. And yeah, the fans aren't going to give him patience. Poch out legitimately trending on Twitter. Big accounts like Carefree Lewis, Roy, a few other Chelsea fans I know already saying that they're not sure about Poch. A lot of them saying now they wanted Big Ange. I'm like, huh? Like, no, you lot didn't. So it's just, yeah, these lot, they're a mess, man. They're a mess. And
you get me right. Big Ange's name is getting run like that. When even Pai didn't want him.
No, we wanted Big Ange, and I told you, man, it was all about Big Ange and not Pochettino. And I told him, wow.
Blowing his nose. You
need to mute your mic.
You get me? This is one of them, yo. Do you know when man goes to the toilet, yo, and just let them loose by accident, yo. It's a bad thing. What you saying, though, Bish, man? It's good to have you here. I thought you was going to miss the show today, man.
I know. You know what? I'm trying not to miss any shows this year, or as few as possible. And it was a good weekend football. So I literally came in through the door. I was like, where can I just pop the iPad down and try to jump on? So hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, you give us a surprise there. We thought you had the Man United away top on then for a minute.
Nah, you know what? This is a mad top, you know. It's a present for my brother. It's a sick one. It's Oakland Soul, like a Black Panther edition. It's pretty dope. It's got like some power to the people stuff on it and stuff. But yeah, this was the top that I just grabbed from the cupboard. How are you, man, doing?
Yeah, good, man. Good. How you doing?
You know what? I've just deeped it. It's a shame DSG's not here. He couldn't make it. We need someone to call because I've deeped it. Everyone on this panel's had a good start to the season. I think we're all ones before. International break's coming at a bad time for all of us, but we could have called him, filtered. Big up DSG, though, man.
Yeah, you know what, though, Roms? I could have done with a little break, yeah, because even though we managed to win yesterday, These man have been raising my blood pressure over the first few weeks to get me big man things. You get me?
Mm.
But look, let's continue with Chelsea before we push on to the Arsenal, because hopefully Nuruddin, if he is free, because he is on the stream, if he can jump in, then obviously we got a United guy there to bash in, haven't we? So what a wait for that for a little minute.
I'll be real though, with the whole Chelsea thing. Like, look, I know it was all banter and you know it is a lot of like online content, but listen, Lewis is my guy. But bro, the amount of like shamelessness that you're doing, looking at Havertz and looking at Mount all the time and trying to have your little banter moments. I'll be real, you deserve this. Your fan base deserves this. All you keep doing is concentrate on everybody else other than your team. Now, you don't pick up the moments when you see your £100 million DM or however much you cost making mistakes. You don't pick up when Colwill, the guy you were begging to stay, is running back like he's got a tractor on his back. You're not picking out the times when Chilwell was doing all the madness that he's doing, but you're picking out when Havertz, yes, rightfully so, is having his low moments. And when Mount, yes, rightfully so, is having his low moments. So,
but look, they don't want to talk about Kovacic. They don't want to talk about Kovacic.
They don't
want to talk about man that are going and doing well. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. So, like for me, look, I look at it and I say to myself, Chelsea have no excuse. Let's just forget for 1 second that they've spent £1 billion. Just for 1 second, let's forget that.
Yo, you can't forget that, fam.
No, but
cannot forget that.
For the sake of it. Go on.
Yeah, just for the sake of it. The reason why Chelsea get away with nothing is because they've got rid of all the players that they didn't want. They got rid of Havertz. They got rid of Lukaku. They got rid of Mount. They got rid of Koulibaly. They got rid of Kepa. They've got rid of everybody. So let's just say they had all these other players, Aubameyang. Let's just say they had all these players, you know, in the reserves or, you know, out on loan or whatever it is. They've sold them all off. And they've now got a new crop of players in. So it's almost like, what more do you need? Now, whether I agree with it or not, I can see why Chelsea fans probably feel a certain kind of way, because you're seeing Chilwell playing left wing. You're seeing Jeremy Doku. He came on and he started against Man City the other day, but they're not starting Lavia, for example. I don't know if he's injured. But so I can see that. But for me, I just think Chelsea need to really focus on their own club, because you are literally throwing stones in a glass house. You can't comment on Arsenal's players. You can't comment on Man United's players. You can't comment on anything. You aren't in a position because you're back in 12th, and it's embarrassing with the amount of money that you spent. And I saw something on Twitter, and I actually genuinely had to deep this. The question was, and there was a list of all the Brighton players and all the Chelsea players, and they said, whose team would you want? Whose squad would you want? And I actually went for Brighton's. I actually genuinely, if you look at Chelsea's squad, it's terrible. Like, I know, and I know football's not a names thing, because I said Ange was going to do well. I said it on this very channel because I knew that he was bringing some good quality players. They didn't have to be the biggest names. No one rated Ramsdale. No one rated Ben White. So it's not always about names. But what I am saying is, they just don't look to have any quality at all, and it doesn't seem to be meshing together. So for me, I feel like they genuinely deserve everything they're getting, and I hope they get more, honestly.
You know what, Lee? I echo that. Sorry, Roms, but you know what? Yeah, before you jump in, Roms, post-Roman bums, innit? I said it from over a year and a half ago. You get me? Everyone was saying, nah, they're spending this money, that money, they're going to come. God, I told you, Roman Abramovich has left that club, and they've got no heart left in that place. I'm telling you now. This Bowley guy that's come in, he's an absolute wallad. He's a joke. Nobody respects him. People are just going there for 8 years. You get me? Retirement fund. Pick up your dough. Go in. Have your breakfast in training in the morning, and that's the best thing that they're doing.
After 12 months.
It's an absolute madness, bro. But Roms, go on. Touch on what you were going to say about it.
I think we'll all agree here. Do you know what the most absurd thing I think when it comes to Chelsea with all this spending? That they did not get a striker. You spent all this money and you didn't. We know goals are currency, and we know goals win you games. You look at Madrid, he's not going to put up the numbers. You look at Jackson, unproven. Yeah, he had a little stint at Villarreal, but he was injured for, I think, a season, unproven. Sterling, whether he can get back to the Man City levels, in my opinion, he can't. I still rate him, but I don't think he can get back to them heights. He'll just be at a decent level. Trying to think who else they have in their front line. There's not Noni, again, unproven, young.
Raheem Sterling, bro, coming to the end of his career, man. He's not the same guy.
Exactly.
I don't rate Sterling. I never really did rate Sterling, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't rate him now. And sorry, I'll let you finish, Ron, but also they got Nkuku. but he's injured.
Yeah,
so
but that's the thing. That's the thing, Patrick. For me, the only two players I look in that team and think, goals can come from there is probably Cookie. You could say Palmer, but then even Palmer and Bishop, remember, Palmer had a stint at City where he was on red hot form. Then he got that peak injury because Pep was actually slowly starting to integrate him in games, cup games. He was getting last 20 minutes of Champions League. Then he got an injury that set him back. Now, to break back into that City team is very hard. But they're the only two players I look at in that Chelsea squad and think, they can score the goals.
You know the maddest thing though, Roms, right? And I'll throw it back to you. I had to do my research because my man saying to me, they're relying on Palmer to get goals. He scored no goals in the Prem. He scored 6 goals. Okay,
You're joking.
He scored no goals in, I think, 18 games in the Prem. Now, yes, minutes were low, but he scored no goals in the Prem and he scored 6 goals in his career as a professional. Now,
he's a young kid as well.
He's a young player. Yeah, okay, so I'll give him that. He's a young player. So I'm not going to dump him.
But with that being said, no, you're right.
You can't rely on him as your output as goals. You can't.
Then it's only a Goku then. Then it's one player in that whole squad.
And I'll throw it back
I think Sterling will get you. Sterling has got goals throughout his career. Whatever man want to say, he always manages to work his way up to a decent tally in most seasons.
That's in your team. That's in your team. No, remember he's at Chelsea now. That's in your team under a system that's flourishing and the best manager in the world. Does he have the players around him?
But he's got 3. I think he's got 3 this year for Chelsea, hasn't he? Or has he got 2?
Look who the majority of them came against
in one game.
And it's
I don't dump on Sterling. Only literally, I'll be honest, this bias. I'm half Jamaican, so I don't really like to say them things about him. But it is true, bro. Like, listen, if you don't rate him, you don't rate him. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't know. Like, I just think that their team. I don't know. And if I'll throw it back to you guys, do any of you think Nkunku is that much of a difference that he's gonna be this amazing player for them? I don't personally.
I think he's got a good player in there. Is my internet on a fuckery thing or something? Because it keeps playing up on my side, but I don't know if it's just my side. It's fucking up.
Yeah, you're a bit pixely. You're a bit pixely.
Let me come out and come back in and see. Cool. But go on, bitch. You might as well continue.
Go on. Yeah, while you're gone, I was just gonna say, I feel like what I'm noticing in the Prem these days is it's like there's 2 different, at least in that top end of the Prem, the big boys that have got money. It's like there's 2 different types of clubs, and it's a bit like just if you was like 2 different types of people just in normal life. Like there's the people that go out saying, right, I know that I need a pair of shorts, or I need a shirt, and you go out looking for a set thing, a set item, and you go get it. And then there's man that just go in TK Maxx and just see stuff discounted and are just like, yo, I don't even need a coat, but a North Face coat for 60 quid. And I feel like that's what there's 2 types of clubs that we got in the Prem at the moment. You've got guys that are going out with like a clearly defined target. We need a left winger who is right-footed and can cut in and do this and do that. And then there's these other clubs that are just like, if they see a guy available that they feel is like a bargain, or they feel is like within a certain price range, they just click and go on it for no reason. And Chelsea seem to be the prime culprits of that. Like, what was the thinking behind buying Cole Palmer other than just that kind of TK Maxx mentality of like, what, he's available and he's that much and we can afford him? Yeah, we'll just get him because he might come good in the future. Like, but then what's happened is they've had a whole window like that, and all of a sudden it's like, I wouldn't take a single player that they've bought in this window at City, but you spent, like you said, you spent £1 billion or whatever it might be. So there's something weird going on over there. And as a City fan, for them to take Cole Palmer, who, to be honest with you, I was never convinced with, like, he was never my guy like that. I know he had a good start to this season, so I'm not going to knock him like that. But I never really felt like he was good enough for City. So to have sent him to Chelsea and for the same amount of money in the other direction, we've got Kovacic, who's just fitted straight in, looks like a carbon copy swap for Gundogan, like not missed a step. Like, for me, that's like, how has that happened from a Chelsea perspective? One, how did you have this Kovacic guy in your team looking average, and now he's gone to City and looks like one of the best in the league in that position? And then 2, if he wasn't average, or if you knew he wasn't average, how have you lost that experienced, well-rounded Premier League ready player in exchange for just another young guy? Like, there's no real experience in that Chelsea team. And the guys that are experienced, it's a bit like, remember when Arsenal had that phase of like, the guys that they were calling on for experience were basically just guys that were too old, like a Mertesacker, or it weren't guys that had Premier League experience that were still firing. It was just old players mixed with young players. That isn't a mix of experience and youth. That's just a mix of old and young. And Chelsea a bit like that. Like, who in that team, barring Sterling, can you say, right, they've been round the way. They understand the Premier League. They understand what it takes to win. They understand what it takes to put a team together and progress to that next level. Nobody jumps out. They've either got guys that have been in that Chelsea system, like a Chilwell or whatever, or they've got guys that are just new to the Premier League, or they've got youngsters. So who's in that team is going to help them understand, no, this is the level that needs to be set. This is what we need to do. Obviously, Poch is going to try, but there still has to be someone amongst the players that can do that. And I just don't see it at Chelsea.
Patrick, how do they fix it, though? Because realistically, they can't keep going on and spending another £1 billion on their squad, because financial fair play is going to end up kicking in and biting them on the arse. How are they going to fix it? Yeah, they've got Pochettino there, but nothing seems to be improving under him at the moment.
This is the thing now. Poch is going to have to earn his bacon. Like, you're a coach, you've got to actually coach these guys. You've got to set up a system, set up a formation, stop messing about. 3 at the back, 5 at the back, 4 at the back. Actually have a set 11, set 15, and coach the guys. You're a coach. It's time to actually get paid now. You know, yes, you've bought 26, 27 players, but you've got to be ruthless. Pick your 15 and go and coach and win some games, because there's no denying that they should be winning more games, playing better style of football. When I watch them, I don't really see a brand. Yeah, they looked okay against Luton, but fuck me, it's Luton. Like, really?
Actually, you know what? I wanted to ask you as well, yeah? I know a lot of Chelsea fans, they're a bit annoyed because in the transfer window, in the summer, they were playing, you know, a certain kind of, yes. They were playing a certain formation, and then, you know, all of a sudden they moved into this, you know, 3 at the back with Chilwell playing left wing. Like, is that a thing that he did at Spurs, or like, is that just like something he's trying? I don't know. It's quite weird.
Do you remember when he got pelters in the cup final versus Chelsea, where he put Son at left wing back? That's the only closest thing I can think. It's a different. Because obviously Son was pushed back where Chilwell was pushed forward, but that's the only kind of resemblance I can think of, which is, and again, at the time, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? In a massive game where we were the underdogs, but we were a good team. We could have taken it to Chelsea, and then he threw the game away by putting Son at left wing back. Like, what? Son doesn't track back like that. Son isn't defensively minded in the slightest. Son's one of the best finishers, one of the best at running in behind, finishing with a touch, finishing at pace. And you're playing him at wing back. So he did a mad thing then. He's doing a mad thing now with Chilwell. Chilly's never been a finisher. Chilly's never been someone that can beat a man and cut in and create. So I don't know what so that's the closest I can think of. But the thing with Poch as well, and you're seeing that at Chelsea, we always got onto it because he never had a plan B. Never had a plan B when things weren't going well. And his substitution timing and subs was always bad, doing the same at Chelsea. And he's got a coach now, man. You're under scrutiny. You come back to Chelsea. It's not the same as when he was at Tottenham and he's kind of like, it's only Tottenham. You're young, they're young. I'll give you time. He's now got a pedigree. He's now got experience, and he's now spent £1 bazillion. He's got to bring some sort of football. Otherwise, he's going to be in deep water. There's no time now. Yeah, he'll get a bit of time, but if results don't improve, he's going to be under a lot of pressure.
What's the vote? Do people think it'll come good? Do people think it will come good? Like, what's people's vote? Yes or no? Did they think it'll work?
No.
Post-Roman bums, man. I told you.
No from Prem, no from Patrick. What about you, Rams? Do you think it'll work out eventually, or do you think it's going to be
too little, too late? I think when it clicks, it'll be 2-3 months left of the season. They're finishing probably between, I'd say, a 7th and 10th again. I got it wrong because I initially had them high with the
where they belong, Rums. Where the 12th. You get me down. Where they belong.
I just thought one game a week. Poch with the youth, you can develop. I got deluded by all that stuff. I had them third, but it's when it clicks, it'll be too little, too late. They're in for another long season. Another long season, man.
Just on that note, just to fire it back at you again. If let's say it still takes until the last 3 months of the season, like you said, for it to click. But let's say when it starts to click, it starts to click properly, where it looks like it's working. It looks like a Poch team. It looks like there could be a future there. Do you take that as a Chelsea fan now, after all the chaos you've had in the last few years? Would you take a season where you don't necessarily finish in a great position, you don't finish with silverware, but you've kind of managed to get the Poch philosophy through. You've managed to get a steady first 11. You've started to win games and see some results on the pitch, and then you can build going into the next window? Or do you feel like because of the money they've spent, it has to be instant success on the Poch?
I think because of the money they spent and just the fan base they are impatient. They are the most impatient out of all of us. So I think for them, and it wouldn't just be one. Sorry, you said one season where there's no silver. They don't play well, but you can still see there's a plan and the way he's implementing stuff. But it would have been 2 seasons now, and I just feel with Chelsea, their fan base aren't going to get the thing. It's not even the players itself; it's the fans as well. They're used to instant success. Forget even before for the money. I think Roman only had in his reign 4 trophy seasons out of like the 19-20 he had. So it's the fan. For me, when it comes to Chelsea, the main toxicity and the main problem are the fans. They don't know what patience is. That word's alien to them. So I don't think they'll take that. They want it here and now. I don't think they'll take a season of integration. Like they have to though. They actually have to, because we're seeing what's happening in front of us. But will they be happy with that? No. Just seeing it already.
You know what, boys? Let me introduce my guy Nuruddin to the show.
King.
I don't know if I'm freezing or whatnot, because my internet's on a mad thing. You get me? I need to get onto Virgin Media and start sticking it all over them. You get me? Paying top dollar for this.
Nah, man. Listen, your internet's moving like VAR was moving at the Emirates yesterday, bro.
I'll be real.
Right here, man.
Crazy.
Debut on the show, you get me? And I don't want to be hearing all this Alba was for yellow that was, you get me? I don't want to be hearing none of that, you get me, fam? And you know in it. But look, this is going to segue us into a beautiful.
Now you know what I've
you get me? Arsenal United.
Listen, I've got two. I think I got 2 pence on Chelsea. I actually watched their games. I think I watched 2.5 games. I watched. And actually, I'm not going to lie to you. Bowley, that's what he's an American, innit? He basically doesn't understand, and the people around don't understand, that you spent almost nearly $1 billion. Go and get Osimhen. You need a guy to stick the ball at the back of the net. You bought all these players, but the hardest thing to do in football is what happened between those 2 sticks, that bar. That's the hardest thing. That white line, those 2 posts, that bar. That is what the hardest thing. So spend all this $1 billion, and you don't get in 2 or 3 guys who can finish. I watched their game against West Ham. They dominated West Ham. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's be right here. West Ham had 3 or 4 shots on goal and scored them, right? They've got that disaster. I was begging, because Manchester United were linked with him. I was like, please, I can't have that guy. Because he's just like Harry Maguire.
Please let him go.
Harry Maguire. My guy is 25. And out of the La Liga, if you're 20 in that, the French league, if League N, right? If you up there 25 years old and you've not moved as a 25-year-old, you've not moved, that's saying something about you, because all the young players get spotted early and get moved out. So I didn't want that guy, but that's what it cost them. I saw Sterling turning it on like 2018-19 season, like turning it on. And I have seen them play better. Jackson is busy, but he ain't a finisher. He ain't a guy. Bang. And that's what they're missing. And I watched the game against Nottingham Forest. Alanga breakaway, bang. But they miss sitters, man. Let's be honest. I think Poch is a developmental manager. I think he's going to go right. But the big thing, what I agree with what most of you are saying, is the patience. 100. Are Chelsea fans 100. Patient enough? Because this ain't to win now. This is a project. Some of these players that you bought, the overhauling of the squad is massive. It's chaos. So this season, you need to give the manager the first season, like we did with Ten Hag last season. We have to give it to him. And Ten Hag now we're suffering because last season he didn't implement his style of play. We didn't give a damn where we finished. For fans like me, I'm not asked about winning a Mickey Mouse trophy like the League Cup. I'm asked about inputting a style of play into this football club and who fits in and who fits in. But then I'm like, who am I kidding? Regardless what Ten Hag did, the club will be a clown FC anyway, because that's what we are. If you look on social media now, I coined a phrase about maybe a year ago. I said Manchester United is a Netflix special, comedy special that never ends. Like we never end. It's like Lost. You know, remember that Lost TV program?
Yeah, Lost is coming up, man.
Season 49.
I still don't know what happened at the end.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I binge watched that. Yeah, very recently as well. Over the last, I think, a year ago or something. Bro, I must have done it all within like a week. Yo, just binging it, bro.
Must have been that year when Tottenham finished 4th. Man's feeling lost
see what I mean? You know, these City fans now,
man.
these guys have got some newfound chest, haven't they? You know what I mean? For years and years and years, yeah. You didn't hear jokes
chest,
like
double,
that.
double D chest, that's what I'm talking
looking
about.
like double G's, mate. That's what's going on. But look, before we move on to the United Arsenal game, let me get this super chat in. Big up Zaymi Yassi. It's a question for Guna Lee.
Guna bringing the big P's out.
Should we go for Tony Osman in January window as we need a striker? Also, why did we buy Havertz? Onana is not good enough he's not as good as our backup goalkeeper. First of all, answer the Tony Osman one and then go into the Havertz one.
Firstly, shout out to Zayn, man. You know, big up for the super chat. And 100%. Also shout out to Sammy. I don't know if he's still watching, but he's my guy. He's watching as well. I would love Tony. If it's a Tony from Brentford that you're talking about, because I know the spelling's a bit different, but yeah, I think Tony would be a great option. Why did we buy Havertz? You can see why we bought him, but I don't necessarily agree with this signing per se. But yeah, I'm not too sure exactly what he's doing so far. But you know, I'm not gonna kill him too much right now, because I think I'm not gonna judge him because he's actually lost confidence. If he wasn't playing well, it will be totally different. But because I can't judge him, because I don't even feel like he's even at a certain level, because he's so low on confidence, I don't want to do that with him, you know. So, you know, it's almost a bit like when if a kid fails their exams and they're just nervous, but they're smart enough to do the exam. They're so nervous. They don't know how to actually go in there and keep their anxiety down. So for me, listen, I'm not sitting here backing him to the hills, but what I am saying is I'm letting him develop and see how he actually plays to a certain level. And then I'm going to give my full judgment. But everybody knows I don't like the signing anyway. So I guess I'm kind of answering your question anyway.
Do you know what? Just a quick one on that Havertz one. Yeah, Guna, I love you. And I agree with what you're saying in the aspects of not putting too much pressure on him. But fucking hell, bro, 4 years this is coming into, and I've not seen no confidence from this guy at Chelsea or even at Arsenal, you get me? And I think his question of why did we buy Havertz, I honestly can't see. You said that you can see why we brought him. I actually can't see why we brought him. You get me? What? Because he's 6'4". Is that the only reason why we brought him? Because
is he 6'4"?
Yeah,
he's the shortest looking 6'4" person I've ever seen in my life.
I don't feel like he actually offers us anything better than what Granit Xhaka gave us. I'm telling you now for a fact, if that was Xhaka in that position yesterday, on his left foot, he's burying that. You know what I mean? Havertz is miskicking it. You get me? Yeah, I understand about confidence and stuff like that, but you're a professional footballer. You're just being brought for 65 mil. You're on 300 bags a week. You got to be at least hitting the target there, not miskicking it. You get me? So this is why, obviously, I want him to do well. I want him to do well.
Bags part
I just don't get it, man.
Listen,
the 300 bags bit is the mad bit. That's the mad bit. Like, you brought him in and then made him one of the most top paid players in the league. Like, that was the crazy bit. Like, why?
I hear that. But look, I'm not gonna defend him to the hills at all. That's not the angle I'm coming from. I'm not his biggest supporter at all. I'm not even his supporter. I'm an Arsenal fan, so obviously that comes with the territory. But what I am saying is, if you've seen Sancho, for example, we've seen the quality that he had at Dortmund. Everybody knows that he's got quality. Now, for some reason, whether it's the club, whether it's the managers, or whether it's him, it's just not working. It's just not clicking. Calvin Phillips, he's a very, very good player. But for some reason, whether it's through opportunity, whether it's because of the level that he's got to reach, injuries, whatever, he's just not doing it at Man City. So all I'm saying is money. You know, all of these things don't really play a factor into it, because things affect you. And when you're low in confidence, when you're in a certain zone, you do and say stupid stuff. But we can take it back to, you can take it to relationships. When you're heated, when you're angry, you say things sometimes you don't mean. It is just the walk of life. So I'm not.
They say when you're angry or you're drunk, you speak the truth.
No, that's true. But what I'm saying is, you just act differently, or you sometimes act in a certain kind of way. So all I'm sitting here and saying is 1,000%. This isn't Kai Havertz Defense League. I don't like the player per se. I don't think that he's amazing. I don't care. But what I'm saying to you is, I can sit here objectively and look at him and say, do you know what? I'm not going to kill the guy. I'm not going to say too much on him, because he's clearly so low on confidence that it's not even a football thing I should be judging him on now. I think the manager actually should be taking him out of the firing line and bringing him on in the 70th minute when the game's stretched, when he's open, he can drive forward, because you're seeing he's going so far backwards, or he's dropping back on, or he's doing other things. But equally, listen, people don't care about it, but I can say equally the amount of times that he's won the ball back. Even yesterday, he won the ball back. So we can look at the things he should be doing, but some of the other, semantics that no one cares about. I saw many times he won the ball back from Casemiro. I saw many times he won the ball back from what's that fight?
I also seen him get the ball away from
So he's doing so many bad things, but the semantics aren't big enough. They're not good enough. So listen, I'm not. I'm talking.
It's funny you're saying this, because when I said this to you last season about Nunes being low and confident, you didn't want to hear it. You did not want to hear it. But I said to you that everything you're saying about Havertz, cool. You can see he's low on confidence and whatnot. This is what I was saying. They're not brilliant footballers, but once they're high on confidence, that's when you judge them, because that's when things can start in the ground. When I tried to say to you last season, you were calling him Darwin Needles, getting onto him. I said, Lee, he's low on confidence. That's why Klopp even took him out the team. The minute he's high on confidence now, you saw what he done at St. James Park. Cool. You could say it was back to normal yesterday, but we'll get onto that soon. But that's what I'm saying. You have to wait till he's high on confidence.
My only defense back to that is, no one's sitting. I'm not defending Havertz. I'm not saying I like the signing. Liverpool fans were bum licking this guy, acting like he's he's the next Fowler. I'm not sitting here saying I like the signing. So there's a difference. I'm not defending the player. I'm just talking about, if you're asking me to judge him, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Bro, no, you know what, Lee? I fully get it. You get me? We're Arsenal fans and we want to give our guys some time and we want it to work out 100%. I get it. You get me? Fucking man's not sitting here hating the guy. I just really disagree with the transfer, because we might be talking about him low on confidence now, but you can't get more confident than scoring a winning goal in the Champions League final. You get me? Because confidence should be sky high after that. And then the following seasons, nothing. You know what I mean? I'm judging him off 3 years that he's been in the Premier League. And like I keep touching on, one of them guys, in my opinion, is a much better manager than Mikel Arteta in Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. And he's got the experience, he's got the German know-how, and even he couldn't get the best out of this guy. It's very different from, say, for example, if he came from Germany now or he came from Spain now, and we give him that year to settle in. He's been 3 years already in the Premier League, and in them 3 years, bro, I could tell you now, I was sitting here last year calling him Shy Havertz, you know what I mean? So that's the thing that doesn't give me confidence. I totally agree with you. I think Arteta shouldn't be putting him in the firing line straight away. You get me? He should be easing him into this team. He should not be just putting him out there to altering the system for him, because he's going to ultimately get the flack. With Gabriel out of the team, what, as most Arsenal fans said, is to facilitate Havertz in the team. So they've already got that kind of, I wouldn't say vendetta, but they got that a bit of anger towards Havertz coming into the team, because Gabriel, who's a fan favourite, has been dropped to the bench, which puts more and more pressure on him. So I do agree with you.
How has Gabriel ended up on the bench as a result of Havertz? Why?
Because he put Thomas Partey at right back, didn't he? So Thomas Partey can kind of...
Not Jesus.
The Gabriel, the defender. No, I was still struggling to see it, but it's because Partey's dropped back into defence. So then
are we talking about the wrestler, the WWE wrestler?
Listen. No, you know what? I'm not even going to let this conversation go any further before I even interrupt you. Nuruddin, you're a good guy, but I have lived 20 years of seeing Man United pay the referees, have the referees in their pockets, have extra Fergie time, cheat teams out of results, constantly whining and moaning about decisions that they believe they should have had, and they eventually get them. The fact that, only last week, only 7 days ago, you got a penalty which was at best dodgy. And you are now sitting here complaining about something which firstly wasn't a foul. You're complaining about a VAR offside that wasn't an offside.
Yeah, because of the angle, bro. It's the wrong angle. Did you not hear Gary say?
Listen.
Gary Neville said, bro,
all I'm
had it on the wrong angle, man.
Man United fans need to shut the fuck up, honestly, because logic says you have been and do you know what? I even got it wrong. It's not 20 years, it's 30 years. You have been cheating teams out of results and out of last minute penalties, offsides, free kicks, red cards.
Fergie time. Don't forget
Fergie
that.
time before all this extra time
I can go
nonsense.
back to if I wanted to be as petty and as childish, I can go back to the 49th game that you beat us in, where you absolutely cheated that game. I can
Cheated.
think
Wayne Rooney.
No, I agree with you guys. I think Arsenal and
I am not
United
sitting
have
here
always just
now. Just
really
hold
cheated.
hold your medicine, and held it dearly. And if you need any more, come back to the Emirates next week. I can put on a charity game and we can do it again, because you as a fan base cannot sit there and moan about anything, because firstly, none of them were in your favor, and secondly, even if they were, hold that dearly.
The penalty overturn was in their favor.
You gotta let me reply. Yeah. I'm telling you, all I can see now on this screen is people who have got PTSD in it. Fergie ruined their childhoods.
I'll take it for free,
you know what? Literally ruined your livelihood. Listen, I got a channel called I got a channel. My channel is called United Real Therapy. I'm happy to accept all of you guys. You can come, bring your notes. Like literally, the therapy. We can sit down and you can explain to me how the PTSD, how Fergie ruined your childhoods. Because that's all I'm hearing now. I'm hearing about things about 30 years ago. That tells me childhoods were ruined, teenage years were ruined.
That's gold.
That's all. That is all I'm hearing. So at the end of the day,
guys said you need to do deep work.
Listen. You know what? Everybody, therapy is good for you, man. That's all I say. Therapy is good for you. Everybody suffers. I'm not making belittling therapy, by the way. This is real football therapy. Because I know Fergie, with Fergie time, I know you were all ruined, like ruined. Actually, I always say if a Liverpool fan, Arsenal fan, City fan all got into a room, Liverpool, they all said they could not come up better than what the Glazers are. But I'll put that to a side. Yesterday, if Casemiro stamps on Odegaard like that, it's a straight red. Saka stays on the pitch because it's the boy that can't do no wrong.
But we've seen that with Granit Xhaka.
He is the absolute godchild of British football or English football. You know what? I'm happy for a certain extent, because usually it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I say it simple. I take that one. I think, okay, that could have been, and I accept, because I'm not deluded like most United fans. Is my internet going mad? Is it me?
No, you're
we can hear you. No, we can hear you. You're sounding good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Keep running.
Yeah. So basically, I'll say it simple.
Yeah.
Listen, I accept that. I would accept that Lindelof maybe could have gone off, right? Could have gone off with a high foot. He could have gone off. He's the last man. You could argue with that. But Saka had to go. And then I look at the WWE wrestling, the guy that you got in. Listen, he needs to go straight to WWE. I'm telling you, he needs to go to WrestleMania. He's got to go, because you know what? Barging a man out the way, putting him off. You know, I'm a little pushed at the back, minimal touches. And if a man rolls, the man had his arm across like that and smashed him. I'm telling you, that's a new move that people are copying now in WWE. Trust me, he clamped down, lad. Slammed him. That's what he did.
This is
that's what he did. And you know what?
Straws, man.
And I'm not picking at straws, bro, because it was the other way around. Trust me. I'm telling you now, the tears will be from Emirates all the way. It'll be flooding the whole country. That is what it was there. If you took those three things, the tears from Highbury will be flooding the whole country. And all I say is this. I understand the media as well, the British media. Onana, I was there at Old Trafford against Wolves. I saw it and I'm like, that's a penalty. If you know me about anything about me, I come and moan about referees. But I'm brought up on the Fergie. And I'm brought up to thinking that Manchester United cannot leave the game to referees, because we already know. It's just there on the Stretford end. Hated, adored, but never ignored. It's there for a reason. But what I remember the British media doing a whole week's phone-ins. It was every back page. VAR. The guys got demoted. The VAR got demoted. And I'm looking at that, I'm going, listen, I could take one, maybe the Saka one, but the offside. Deep down, any of you watching that game, deep down, be honest. I'm going to test your level of honesty here, and especially you, Premsy. If that is Saka going through, are you telling me from the first minute when you showed it on the replay that it's still offside? Be honest.
If it was going against me, I'd be fuming. I'll be honest with you. But
it's
I'll take it. You get me? I'll take it because it's gone against us many times before.
Do we just not believe in the tech though with offside?
Bro, we've been in situations.
Offside.
Fish, we been in a situation, when man ain't even drawn up the lines. You get me,
brother?
This is what we've had
Don't
to
get me
deal
mad.
with.
Last season, I was at the Brentford game. They didn't even have VAR working. How, bro? What about Sheffield United against Aston Villa a couple seasons ago? They didn't even have goal line technology. They didn't have it open. Remember the season of the COVID? That was the fourth game back.
And Guni, that was the first game back from the restart.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, it happens, but I'm not saying it's correct. But in this instance, you can't act like you've been cheated because it was offside. You know what? And you know how I'm being honest as well, because the penalty from Havertz, I saw it. Penalty. I then saw it again. And I was like, no, that's not a penalty. And it's more so, I didn't think it was a dive, but I didn't think it was a penalty. There is content.
I'm honest. If we didn't win the game, I would have been all over saying it was a penalty.
I wouldn't have said that.
I'm telling you now, because there was contact, because that Rashford one, that was given. Yeah, one sec, let me get.
But not all contact in the box is a penalty.
Yeah,
you can't.
And Havertz actually kicked him.
I just want to acknowledge Zayn as well, who's dropped another super chat in the chat below. Big up Zayn, man, making it rain in the chat today. What do you, man, think about this? Do you think Casemiro's finished? Do you think that he's been eating too much Brazilian rice? Like, what are we saying?
You know what? No,
was rice eating him yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, yamming him up.
From what I've seen this season, I've been saying this. Yes, the personnel around him is contributing to Casemiro not playing well. But I also think himself, I want to know your opinion as a United fan. I feel himself, he's slowly declining as well. It's factors around him and it's Casemiro himself. I want to know your opinion on that.
I said it on record, man. We bought him and Varane, and I'm like, where's this club going to? What are we? Fucking cast-offs FC. That's what we are. You cast-offs. We eat next man's cast-offs. At the end of the day, I said it then, and people came for me hard. I said his great-grandchildren are not even born yet. They're dancing on the fucking Copacabana beach as we speak now. They're not even born yet, but they're dancing because no other football club was giving him that fucking contract and that amount of money at that length of the contract. Nobody else in Europe. At the end of the day, we are what we are. Simmer fucking frame FC. Do I rate him? If everything around him was good, it would. Listen, you see it. You get into a system. You know what the best coaches do? They put players into the system. They hide the deficiencies and infatuate the style or what the player can offer. That's what they do. They hide the deficiencies and up the potential or the strength of that player. I look at Casemiro and I'm like, we've got a guy who's got a pacemaker next to him. And then we've got Bruno who goes missing in these big away games. That's what we've got.
Pacemaker, you know.
But he has got a pacemaker though. That's actual fact.
Norwich though, right? Like,
and he actually had a good game. The guy who had the pacemaker had a good game.
Nah, he got ran all over though. Nah, he didn't.
Guys, redefining.
He made one good pass. He made one good pass to Rashford, but I wouldn't say he had a good game.
I'm telling you, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't think it was good.
I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. This last 6 months, or when he came back from injury, that man, it's been nowhere. I'm like, what is this going on here? So what I saw yesterday, it's not just that first pass. He was actually getting on the ball deep. That's what he was doing. So I can actually take that.
My thing is, right? My thing is for you to you is, look, you can talk about, what you believe is injustice. Injustice is all you like. But can we not talk about the first half an hour of that game where you looked honestly lost? I see your game plan, and I'm looking at your team. Can we not talk about Rashford?
But they went 1-0 up.
Okay, do you know what though?
So who's that saying more about?
No. Do you know what? That's fine. But you know what? I think that what Arsenal do. Arsenal will kind of see the deficiencies of another team, and they say, "Here you go. We're going to hand it to you," because we know that Man United are a counter-attacking team, and we still will let him do that. And I think that was just a poor piece of play by Ben White, rather than the team itself, because he should have shown him down the line. That was quite clear. But you look at the way that Man United set up and the way they play. You've got players that they believe that are good in that squad who are bang average. Now I look at, I thought he was actually quite good. So I'm not going to sit here and start doing the whole like shameless thing. But you look at the Butcher. He's horrible on the ball, horrible. You look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I thought he was really good. But going forward, he offers you nothing. He cannot dribble the ball forward. You then look at their left back with Dalot. I thought he was really, really good. But again, over the course of a season and extrapolate that, he can't do that. You look in the midfield, you see what Christian Eriksen. I thought he was okay, but okay isn't good enough for Man United. Let's go to the right hand side. You've got this the Beyblade. I can't remember his name. He just isn't good enough. He doesn't offer enough.
That's a
You go up
Beyblade.
front, Martial was
Anthony.
absolutely shocking. And then you go to the you go to the last player I'm going to talk about, your captain. And that's where I think your problems lie. I think your problems lie from the fact that you've got a captain who isn't a captain. And with at least with Arsenal, Odegaard doesn't have to shout to be a captain because he leads by example, by performances and what goals. With Bruno, there's nothing. He doesn't offer anything other than moaning. Listen. So for me, I think that Man United fans need to really start looking more at themselves and their performance that they had, which was horrible. For a big 16, it's not good enough.
I'm not going to lie to you. That was our best performance of the season. That just tells you where we've been. Martial's best game of the season. Eriksen's best game of the season. So that just tells you where we've been, where we've been this season in terms of how we played. I actually genuinely think, you gave us the ball, and that was the thing because you didn't want the transitions because that's what we're coached on now. We're a transitional team. We try to press high up the pitch and win the ball back and do what we have to do. But at the end of the day, yesterday, for about 70 minutes, we looked about like a team that we were working hard for each other. We were actually giving it some, other than the decisions that whatever happened and the goals that you scored. But to me, if anybody was ever in any kind of on the fence about where Manchester United are for a football club, you look at the two centre-halves that finished the game. Johnny Evans, he can't even get a championship team. He can't even get a League One team coming for him. You know, I've got a couple of friends who are professional footballers, ex-professional footballers. You know what they used to say to me? You know the worst time that for a footballer where his brethren will cost him out is when your club releases you and nobody else is coming in for you. When the club releases you,
well, you just came in, Bryn. You get me it's a mad thing.
Listen, 35-year-old Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire, which the manager did everything he could to try to get rid of him. So at the end of the day, that's where we're at as a football club.
Do you think they did badly, them two? Or do you think they did okay, them two, given once they were on?
Are you kidding me? See how
you ain't impressed?
Are you kidding me? See how slow? Listen, you watch that chance again, yeah? Watch the Rice goal again. He literally dilly-dallies on the ball. He doesn't take it straight away. He chases the ball, and they're not quick enough. And Evans is moaning about Jesus. He's got twice the weight of him, twice the size of him. And you got a man trying to bully you. Both him and Maguire are not quick enough to get out to close that ball down. He had all the time in the world to bring that down, chest it, and then slam it out. That to me tells me everything you need to know about our football club. But I'll put that aside. It was our best performance of the season. And I'm being honest. And you know what? If you know me or you see me on Twitter, I usually don't banter other teams. I crush it. I set up a YouTube channel just to inform our fans about what the Glazers are doing and how toxic and rotten our football club is. And you see it with the Sandro thing. You see it with the Anthony thing now breaking this evening. That's what we are. We are comedy special. So I don't usually come for anybody, but I was quite disappointed with Arsenal. I thought the way you celebrated that game let me know everything I needed to know about where your squad is, where Arteta is, where this new way of playing is, this style that he's trying to implement. Because I'm like, bro, I won't mind. This is the first week of May, and you're 9 points clear on top of the league. You'd celebrate it like that. I'm like, yo, this is the
it's not. I think you're looking at it. You're looking at it. I hate United more than I hate Tottenham. Yeah, that's just facts. I'm telling you now. And it doesn't matter what this game, if it's meaning us winning the title or if it means us getting relegated. United versus Arsenal, that fixture. Whoever wins, you know what? This is the only game, one of the only games. I'm not asked if we play well or not, as long as we get the result. This is one of the only games. Normally, I'm all for the performances. If we're not performing, I'd say, you know what?
Though?
It wasn't good enough.
It's a madness.
The way we done it and broke United heart.
In the 95th minute, we should have lived up to our apparent name of being the library and not celebrate and sit here with our hands folded because we scored a last-minute goal to beat our oldest, nearest, or dearest rivals.
Yeah, biggest London derby.
There you go. What do you want?
I'm
telling you.
Listen.
I was walking down the street. You know how many United fans I could hear?
No, listen. Listen, I can detect it. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. One thing a Man City can never do is talking about fans. You got none. So don't talk about it. That place is called the Empty-Ad. It's called the Empty-Ad for the reason. 60 fans and a blind dog. And a blind dog can't see. That's why he goes there. So let's not talk about fans, bro. We're worldwide. We are everywhere. Everywhere you see in this world, we're here. We're everywhere. Don't bother, bro.
Man are just being loud because I'm not gonna shout over man on the stream. But if you're from Manchester, brother, you know. Come on now.
I'll listen to you. I'm not going to shout over you. I'm going to listen to you. But
you're from Manny. You've been about Manny long enough. You know that we're in our city. It ain't like that. It's only when you start leaving Manchester that you're like, wow, so many United fans. Premsy, tell me I'm lying, bro. Growing up, what was it? We was shit and it was still about 50-50 in Manchester.
I'll be totally honest with you now. Growing up, even though man went to primary school opposite City Stadium, there were so many United fans, and that's just because they were winning. At Claremont, they were winning. Now, as you grow, as you're getting older, and City have overtaken Manchester United and being the biggest club in Manchester so far, you get me? You see kids all wearing City shirts.
Premsy's got amnesia, though, man, because you're talking about primary school. What about high school? We were in high school.
No. This is but in high school, though, it wasn't like City weren't the team that they are now. They were on the up. You get me? Now it's the City's totally different now. Where as we were growing up, even through primary school, high school, United were always the team, and you got just saying it as it is. City,
it's not, bro, because I on the stream. He's drowning right now. He's drowning.
Listen, let's start talking. All right, let's start talking about drowning. Let's start talking about drowning. Let's get the Glazers on the stream and start talking about drowning. The guy's club is rotting from the inside out. Talk to me about drowning. It's floating, bro. We ain't lost a game in about 6 years.
You know what, Bish?
Brother, I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree with you, and that's why I'm on YouTube and on Twitter to try to tell our fan base stop buying the propaganda because we're rotten. So I agree with you on that one. But in terms of fan base, bro, you're not even close. Robinho playing.
Listen, first of all,
Robinho playing before he joined the wrong club, bro. Come on.
I realized why Nuruddin don't like you because you look like Ten Hag. He's saying, innit? And he don't like Ten Hag.
That's what you're saying. man's the pretty Ten Hag. That's what man saying. Man said I'm the Ten Hag with trophies.
He's the Ten Hag with trophies. You know. He did a pretty boy Ten Hag. You don't like him, bro, because you don't like Ten Hag because he's what.
Man's the Ten Hag with trophies over here. It's deep.
I'm not gonna lie.
You gotta give it City in it. City right now at the 2 minutes.
Listen,
greatest team in the Premier League history.
Listen, 100%. I don't, like I said to you, I'm not the fan to ever talk about other fans, but on other clubs, because I thought there's too much chaos going on at my football club. But when City fans start talking about fans, bro, but you know what? No. Let me land, bro. Let me land, because to be fair, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but within the joke, there was some truth. One of the reasons why the Arsenal United game is so big, and for the man that are on the stream that are from London, they're weird to tell you, I've lived in London now the last 6-7 years, no disrespect to Tottenham, obviously, there's Tottenham fans, especially in and around North London, you get a lot of Tottenham fans, West London, you get Chelsea fans, but 95% of the time, if you ask a man in London what team he supports, it's Arsenal or United. I'm not even going to lie, bro. I was half joking, but not joking. I was out grafting last night, and when I was out and about, I heard when Declan Rice's goal went in, and I could hear multiple flaps of man like, fuck, no, like, shut, like, there is a massive United presence in London because of, like you said, because there's a massive United presence globally. But in London, there is a lot of United fans, and that does add to the rivalry because there are same way that in Manchester, as City and United fans, as much as United fans used to like to brush City back in the day, if you lost to us, even when we weren't nowhere near you back then, man had to go into work or had to go into school and sit next to City fans or be about City fans. So same way in London, there's a lot of that. There is a lot of Arsenal fans. If you lost, you got to go into work tomorrow and you're surrounded by United fans.
You know what it is?
No,
you're spot on. You're spot on. Because obviously I live in London as well, and it's literally United and Arsenal. And you know what else United and Arsenal are 1 and 2 at? I would say in terms of social media, they've got the 2 biggest fan bases. You're going to talk clubs, I'll say we're in there. But if you're just going to talk social media, United and Arsenal, them two clubs, dominate.
Yeah.
That also contributes.
Listen, I don't agree.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah, social media club. Yeah,
it's a social media derby. Listen, I don't disagree. Like, but also understand that the history of like the country, like a lot of jobs, a lot of people have to go to London to get the better jobs. Like, so there are a lot of people who are Manchester United fans who moved to London. A lot of Mancunians who went there, settled up jobs, had families, and then stayed in London. That also happens. Like there's like Premsley, like Ian Wright. Man, I remember man on my road because of Ian Wright. They were gonna like Ian Wright. Like, you don't understand. Majority of black or brown people in Manchester.
But that's
Ian
why
Wright
my dad
was the hero. Ian Wright was the hero. So that's where it became. So when people go, "Oh, live in Manchester," and you're an ass, I'm like, no, because Ian Wright was such a superstar at that time.
Yeah. Then now your pops is an Arsenal fan. Now you're an Arsenal fan. Of course. And then there's good reason.
Yeah, it passes through. But
don't get it twisted though. There's a lot of glory hunters still. You get me? There's a lot of glory hunters out there as well, man, because United were winning and they were on top.
Listen,
and it's like City as well. Like, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. Now, all the newer era of kids that you're seeing, bro, everywhere you're walking in Manchester is all City tops. They're from Manchester, whatnot. Listen, but even when that man was in Future Ventura, on holiday and all of that, bro, I'm seeing man walking around with City tops and that. Never that used to be the case.
Listen, you know what? I've got a name for them. Let me just say this. I've got a name for them. They're called Born Again City fans. Because when I used to know them, they're like, I just like football. I watched them. Now they're Born Again City fans. Like Born Again Christian. Honestly, they're Born Again City fans.
But you know what?
And I remember some of them were even Arsenal fans. When
you gotta give them credit though. Because of how good that they've been, they've earned them fans in it. Because some people that are just coming into football, or some people that might have not been interested in football, might have been watching City, might have been fans of Pep Guardiola, and now they're looking at that and thinking, you know what, that's where I want to be. And this is how fan bases are built. There's just because we live in, look, for example, I live in Manchester. Just to answer Dominic's question, I lived in Moss Side, brought up there. That's where the Man City Stadium was before they moved as well. So they weren't always near the Newton Heath side. You get me? They were in Moss Side first of all. But just because Arsenal fans, they're all over the world, India, Africa, they're no less of Arsenal fans than what we are because we live in this country and we can get to go to the games. You get me? So you can be a fan anywhere. That's my honest opinion. Is if you got a connection to that club, whether you'd enjoyed watching them play, whether your father or your mother or your brothers and sisters were them fans,
of course.
That's how it is, isn't it? And
you know what I would say though in response to that, and this is where like I was trying to, I was pushing back a little bit on what you were saying about City fans in Manchester, and then Nuruddin, you're from Manchester, innit?
I went to Claremont.
Oh, Claremont. So you're from round the way as well.
I went to Claremont and
so you're from round the way as well. So I think that where we have to be responsible with the platform is, like we said already, a lot of the United fans with voices on social media or whatnot are from London. So then you start getting this rhetoric of there was no City fans that existed before the success. There was City fans, and now you man know for those of us that are from that generation of was here when we was no good, when there was nothing to be glory hunting over. Like it's only really to a large extent man from Manchester that know about that, because like you said, pre all the success, City's fan base hadn't really spread past the edges of the city, because why are man in Thailand going to be City fans when we're getting relegated to League Two? Do you know what I mean? I get it. So I just think, yes, obviously all fans are valid, every experience is valid, but it's also important for man to be able to recognize that it's not like every City fan, and the core City fan base are City fans that have seen us go all the way down the leagues and all the way back to the top. And that's why we feel like we've got the greatest story in English football in history. Because, you man was on top winning stuff, but you man didn't come back from Division 2 while your nemesis was winning everything. Like, so that's why it's important to acknowledge the fans that have come, but also the man that were here before all of that. You know what I mean?
They did get relegated though as well.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I went to Severian. Yeah, Severian College. If you know Manchester, you know. So Man City's youth players went to our college. In turn, we got first tips on jobs at Man City. Now, that man was living on his own, right? Yeah. Left home at 16. So, man, I had to get a job at any job. I worked as a 10-star steward at the Kip-Hats. Yeah. I remember you playing old school Grimsby back in the day in the League 2. 35,000 of your fans singing was shit, and we know we are. So trust me, I know. I grew up in Mossad. I know.
I know
the City.
Exactly.
So for me, I got nothing but love and respect for the City fans.
Yeah.
But the born again ones piss me off. Like
it's different. They piss me
off.
The
born again ones.
Yeah.
The born again ones piss me off. But the old school City fans, I remember like how hard they were. And I, as a kid, when I got into football, when I understood everything, United just popped. I'm part of that wave. I'm part of that. But that's why now with our fan base, I'm like, I'm not about winning trophies. The song goes, we won it all. We want to build the football club and get rid of the Glazers. But go ahead.
No, I appreciate
I hear that. Well, look, let's move on because it is coming towards the end of the show. We haven't even.
I know Paul Roms. Liverpool have been winning better games and games.
I have to get to it. I have to get to it, Dad, because I told you, man, and Goonally, remember, I said Liverpool are going to look good this season. Man was saying, nah, this ain't happening. Talk to me, Roms, what's going on?
You know what it is? First of all, big up friends, because I don't know if you met me yet, but I'll say I'm one of the more level-headed Liverpool fans. I won't get gassed off a few results and think we're doing this and that. Friends, he said, look, Ron, you're going to have a good season. You're being too negative. I said, I don't know, man. So big up friends, first of all. But if you told me we would have picked up 10 points from our opening 12, from a possible 12, I would have took that for the start of the season. I can't lie. It's a very good time right now to be a Liverpool fan because even our window, we all know what happened with the Caicedo and Lavia stuff. It was very embarrassing. And I'll be honest, Endo is more of a stopgap. He's more of a short-term solution. So when that came in, I thought that's a bit underwhelming because there was Paulina there, which for me, yes, people saying, "Oh, he's not young enough. You can't spend that money on him." But let's be honest, this ain't FIFA. He's 28. You still have a good 4 or 5 years in him. Everyone knows we had money. Yes, clubs will extort that, but that's on us. We showed our own hand. So there was a Pauline out there. There was the Corys. There was other options for me that would be more competent. But where I've got to praise Klopp is he's brought in Sobsai, Baller, McAllister, and all these other technicians to come in that have the legs. And what I've realized we're now doing, we might even not play with a competent six, because you saw it yesterday. When I first saw our lineup and I saw McAllister, Jones, and Sabozda, I said, against Kamara, Douglas Reed, and McGinn, very robust, very energetic. Because I predicted a draw. I thought we'd win, but when I saw the starting lineup, I said, you know what, we'll be lucky if we get a draw. Because you saw what they did to us a couple months ago. Yeah. But the way we played, that is our best performance at Anfield in a very long time. Because you lot would agree, when you watch Liverpool, we're good in spells, but teams will keep coming. We'll have like a 20-minute spell, then it'll kind of go back to the other team, then it'll come back to us. We sustain that. Villa had a few chances, but they only had their spell yesterday for about 5-10 minutes max. That is the most controlled performance I've seen. And what I've realized about my club is a lot of our fans are crying out for this six, but what we're doing, we're very reminiscent of the Klopp of old, where we're pressing high, winning the ball high, and hurting teams now. And I feel like if we do that against the majority of the teams in this league, we're going to get a lot of success. Against the Cities, the Arsenals, the United, even Spurs, it will be a bit harder because you don't have more quality. And that's where I think in certain games, we might not be able to dominate as much. But I think Klopp's actually going away from that. He's actually had more tactical nous this season. So, you know what? We might not dominate every game. Let teams have the ball. Let's win it high. Let me actually go back to what I first did with the club. And it's paying off because people like to speak about fixtures and easy fixture and whatnot. We've gone to St. James Park away, and let's be honest, going 10 men down and being 1-0 down and getting a red card early, I think we all would have said Liverpool aren't winning this game. The way we showed desire, in fact, to get back into that, and even a draw at Chelsea. I know, cool, we know Chelsea are dead at the moment, but it's still the bridge. You still need to get points there. So to go down to away guys, Bournemouth, cool, that's a given. And Villa, which are a decent team, and I know me and you, Prem, we had them sixth. So we do rate the club and the manager to a certain extent. But to perform in most of these games, I can't lie, I'm over the moon at the moment, and I just hope all the players come back in one piece. I don't know if you lot have seen, but Trent's out with the England squad now. It shouldn't be too serious. You probably missed the Wolves game, but I hope all of our players come back in one piece. And
I wanted to ask you as well quickly. Sorry, I just wanted to ask you before we move on to Patrick and Tottenham. The new inverted role for Trent Alexander-Arnold now, it looks like Klopp's playing a bit more of a system like Pep and Arteta. Are you happy with that? Is that something you want to see you guys stick with, or do you want to revert back to type?
Yeah, because a lot of our fans wanted Trent, and I was saying at the back of last season, we went on like a 9-10 games unbeaten run, right? A lot of our fans are like, yeah, this is why Trent to play. They're so fancy. He's getting all these assists. I said, the minute we face a midfield that suffocates him, he'll struggle. And you saw it, the opening goal when Bournemouth scored. For me personally, he's not his awareness isn't good enough to start in that 6 role. Play him at right back, then gradually move him in. Because all these fans that say Trent can't defend, I mean, we won everything with him at right back. He just needs men around him that are confident and can do the work. But this natural inverted role where he joins the McAllisters, the Jones, the Szoboszlai, I love it because what it does, let's be honest, with Fabinho, Ronaldo and Henderson, yes, they worked very well in the system, but they weren't the highest technicians. They just did their job, released it to our front three, and let them do their thing. But one thing I love about this kind of box formation with Trent, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Jones, or even Gravenberch coming in, because they're all technicians, we keep the ball much well. Teams can't really get the ball off us. So you've heard the expression attacks the form of our defense. That's what I think is going to be this season. Don't we keep the ball and outscore teams? And because we have that personnel that's very technical, I'm enjoying at the moment. Against the Arsenal and City, that's the real litmus test. And not even just Arsenal and City, even Spurs, I think it's on the 30th of September, Patrick. I think we're the second game back. That's where I'm really going to see where my club's at. But the way when at Newcastle, that's when I thought, you know what? I'm being a bit too harsh. My manager's actually showing me something this season. But right now, man, as we speak, it's very good being a Liverpool fan. I just want all the players to come back in one piece. Then we go again.
Can I just say, but the high line that Good Evening was playing, the high line that Good Evening was playing, though, that helped, though. Come on, let's talk about that. That high line is most man's high line hairline. Trust me. That was halfway like suicide football they were playing, bro.
Listen, Nuruddin, I always said, you don't even need to drop it too back, but even 10, 20 yards back, we didn't need to be that high because teams are literally killing us. And you know the irony?
I'm talking about Villa. Villa.
The thing is,
it was unbelievable. I can't wait for Good Evening to come to the OT because that's suicide with.
You know what, Nuruddin, I actually agree with you because that's a bit weird of Emery. Why are you going 5 at the back? Stick to what you know. He tried to switch it up, and he shot himself. He shot himself in the foot. But you're right. I don't think Villa did enough. They didn't put themselves in enough stead. But yeah, I'd also think, Nuruddin, we made it hard for them. They couldn't get the ball of us at times. They literally couldn't get the ball of us for the majority of the game. But back to what you said, Prems, I'm not going to start drinking that challenging Kool-Aid. As of now, I do think third. I think you and City are still a bit ahead of us. But I have us third. Or fourth. But you never know. Ask me again in January and things are still going well. We know this. Opinions can change, but we're not challengers just yet. I'm not going to go that far.
I don't know, man. I think you might be up there. But I just want to say as well, thanks to Cho the Great for the contribution, man. Big up yourself, bro. Appreciate it. And Patty, finally, finish off. Big Ange. The ball is there. You get me? No Harry Kane. It looks like a revamped Tottenham team. James Maddison. I was sitting on this show when you signed him and I was saying to man like Gunali and that Maddison should have come to Arsenal. He's this, he's that. What an impact this guy's made on the team, man. What are you telling me, man?
Yeah, Maddison's, for me, one of the best attacking midfielders in the league, if not the best. He's up there with Odegaard. He's better than Bruno. I don't know why people are saying Bruno's better than him. You've seen, the guy looks like he's been at Spurs for years. The guy, a lot of people, there's a misconception that Maddison's not good on the ball, or can't work deep in pockets, and you've seen him create space, run at players, pick a pass, obviously finishing, he can do that. He's looked good. You've seen a resurgence of Basuma. What a great player, man. One of the best 8s in the league now. Sarr's looked good, and I've been saying it for ages. I didn't understand why all these managers were picking Skip ahead of Sarr. It just made no sense to me. Thank God, Ange's come in and seen how good Sarr can be, and he's playing. And not a lot of people are talking about Destiny Udogie, but he's come in at left back, 20 years old. The guy's mustard, man. Dribble, can defend, can go up and down that left wing. And then again, Mickey van der Ven on the left side, the centre back. And I said I've argued with so many people, including Gunali, that Romero is a top defender and all he needed is a good defender beside him so you could see how good he is. And now you can see Romero is not doing all the rash things, picking up yellows here, there and everywhere, because he's not got to cover his arse and do crazy things because he's got a good, competent centre back next to him. So yeah, it looks like you said, Gunali, so shout out to you. Sometimes it's not about the names, it's about the profiles. And it looks like Tottenham didn't go crazy with the names, but they got the right profiles for certain areas. And so far, it's like the sum of the parts is big, bigger than just essentially a Harry Kane. So the team's clicking, they're playing very well. We've kind of had a favourable start to the season. Don't get me wrong, Man United's always a tough game. United always used to turn us over. And up until we played them, we hadn't beaten them in our new stadium. So that one was a banana skin for us. But obviously we played really well in the second half and we put them to the sword. So we've kind of had a favourable fixture list with Sheffield United, but then we got Liverpool, and I believe it's then Arsenal, sorry, and then Liverpool. So those are where we'll see where we're at. But so far, so good, man. I can't really complain. The goals are being shared. Sonny, people were on Sonny's back before the hat-trick on Saturday, but Son looked good to me. He was doing all the right things. He just hadn't got on the score sheet. But you saw on Saturday, when Son's in space or when Son's running in behind and he's got people that can find him, one of the best finishers out there, man. That guy is just a natural finisher. When he doesn't have to think about it, one of the best finishers out there.
I do want to say there is no hate, because I was one of the only, I was probably the only non-Spurs person on this channel that said Spurs are going to finish. I think I said fifth, but I was more thinking fourth. I was more pushing towards fourth because I think they were going to be all right. But I do think your base levels last season was so poor, anything looks good. But that doesn't diminish how you've done so well. Because listen, I said it.
Gives you a compliment and takes a little back.
No, it's not even. He's spitting. To be fair,
it's more just like you were so low. Anything looks good on you, like anything. Yeah. So it's almost like a naked man getting, some Ascot trainers, bro. Anything looks good because ultimately you ain't got nothing on your feet, bro. But I will say, I do.
I got a pair of Ascots, man. What are you saying?
Listen. No, each their own. Each their own. But I will say for sure. Like, I do think Spurs fans should calm down a little bit, because I do feel like there is a moment that it can crumble, and I just hope that your fan base kind of keep with the team, because ultimately you're not predicted to do anything this season. I do think you're going to do better than what most people thought. I think the fact that you've got one game a week and you're now out of the Carabao Cup, it just gives you the opportunity to play your team week in and week out. But I do think you will get goals, that you will concede goals. And I don't know if you're going to be able to come back every single game. The teams you played, Man United, you've seen they're absolutely dog crap, to be honest. I'll be honest. I think they're horrible, especially away from home. So let's kind of, I know that idea is there, but, let's remove that for 1 second. You played Burnley, and who was the other game? Oh, Bournemouth. Who again? That was a good.
Played Brentford. Brentford
away in the first game. So so I think just give it a little bit of time to fester before you start positioning yourself in in different ways. I think you come to the Emirates, we always beat you. So if you beat us, maybe that's a thing where you can put as a barometer. We, no matter if we're good or bad, we always beat you. So
100%.
It's a thing where, like, let's now see where and how you play, like, because there's a way to lose games. If you lose a tight 2-1, then you can kind of say, look, there's maybe progression. Or if you draw, then you can say there's progression. But I think that there needs to be a little bit more leverage and, a little bit more maneuverability for you to be like, all right, cool, we're here. We've got these good performances. But let's see how we go against them.
I don't think, of course, you're always going to get crazy fans. You're always going to get some fans that are going above and beyond. But most fans are saying exactly what you're saying. And I'm saying the same thing. Yeah, we've had a good start, but we've got some real tests coming up. Liverpool is always going to be a test. Arsenal away, no matter how good we are, no matter how bad Arsenal are, it's always a ground that we don't get anything from. And obviously, Arsenal haven't been great this year, but for me, they're still one of the best teams in the league. So that's going to be a real tough game. And it's going to be a game where there's going to be a lot of nerves, a lot of edginess, new team. We've got essentially a whole new back line, new manager, new midfield. So it's going to be a good test. But I'm not going to go crazy, but it's a good start. A better start.
No, it is. It is. And
I'm just hoping to God it's a new manager bounce. That's what I'm hoping for.
Listen, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm genuinely happy for Spurs fans, because, like, criminals against good football manage your club, in it. The criminals, people who should be locked up, like Conte, like Jose, these guys should be locked up in it, put in jail, because that's crimes against football. So I'm genuinely happy that Spurs are playing decent football. And Maddison, I always said about Maddison, but our fan base told me, he can't press, he can't do this. I'm like, what? You know what? Forget about what he can't do. Look what he can do. So at the end of the day, your game, the way you played us, you deserved it 100%. We should have scored in the first half, maybe not. Penalty, not, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, I like Ange. I watched him at Celtic, and you know what? He knows what he's doing, man. And all it is that I just think you need a bit more backup at the back. But that young kid, that left back, you shouted out. I saw him against United, bro. He's very techie. Very techie.
I think he's also,
very techie.
I think also, I'll be honest, again, I'm not going too crazy with Son. I didn't think he was great in the first 3 games, and I thought he was, you know, I saw, to be fair, I did see a little bit of the game he's against Burnley the other day. I thought, yeah, you know, he was a lot better playing down the middle. That was the first time. Obviously, Richarlison was bench, being injured, but I'll be honest,
he was benched, man. He wasn't injured.
Yeah. But I will say for sure, I'm not still convinced about Son to do it over the course of the season. I don't know if his legs are gone, but I'm not.
It could be that hernia though, Lee. Last year he had a hernia problem.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The one thing we got to say, is Son has been an outstanding player in this league.
He's a finisher,
top finisher. And last season was so un-Son-like. So I'm putting it down to the hernia. You get me? Now that's all sorted out, we might start seeing the better Son. But guys, we have come to the end of the show. I just want to say, before you cut out, make sure you smash a like on the video. It's totally free. Subscribe if you're new. Go and check out all the Mandem. I just want to shout out Nuruddin. This is your debut on the show, you get me? And what a fucking debut, you get me? Didn't shy away like the rest of the United fans. You was here, you get me, to take the flak. So big up yourself. Make sure you go check out Nuruddin's channel. Check out Patrick as well, Goon Elite, and also Roms. Roms, I always tag you in as Saint Liverpool FC. Is that wrong, or am I tagging you in?
Big up Saint, but Saint's taking a break. He's doing other things outside football. So probably put Big Six back. I'm on Monty's channel often, so probably switch it to that.
Yeah. Say no more. Make sure you go and check out all these brothers, and we will be back next week.
You're mute. You're mute.
Yo, if you follow each other, innit? If you're on Twitter, follow me. I follow you back. But
100.
In the tweet, listen, please, Premsy, tag me and the brothers in the tweet, yeah.
I'll do it 100% after this, innit? But I'll be honest with you, I'm not even really that big on Twitter, you get me? So I don't even do really anything on Twitter too tough. I'll be honest with you, I only just download.
You got YouTube, you got to be on Twitter,
bro. I didn't have no so. Bro, do you know when I jumped on AFTV? Not really, you know me, innit, bro? Man's from the hood, yeah? Man don't do none of this social media, none of this kind of thing. When I went onto AFTV now, yeah, bro, I didn't do nothing. Robbie, the one who said to me, right, start your own YouTube channel, get on social media, So I don't, bro, after 3 months after doing all of this football stuff, that's when I downloaded Instagram and jumped on that, you know what I mean? So I'm an amateur in the game, but don't worry, boys, I will do it, and I will tag you into it as well. But peace and love, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.